Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com. This is the dipping industry, dipping podcast, DipCast.
You throw so many casts in there every
I just got to
time.
shuffle that up. Episode number 16. It's Fonzie from Dip Your Car. With me, as always, is Adam and our sound engineer, Dan. Adam, let's just get it off. Start it off on the right foot. Adam is now rocking his brand new Cheeseburger sweatshirt.
Right.
And it's very comfortable.
Yes.
Why don't you see if you can get up and give them a nice little... Can they see that?
It's a little short.
Yeah, I think it fits great. That came from Europe, by the way. And when people were asking
Poland.
why it took so long to show up, because it came from Europe, which I didn't know. I ordered it online. There's not a lot of places that sell that, although I'm sure there's going to be a ton of comments now with people calling me out saying, dude, it's right here.
Right.
But, you know, I was waiting for it, and it finally showed up.
I think there were a lot of people waiting for it.
Yeah, there probably were. I was waiting for it. So you'll wear that to the DipCast today and probably to work tomorrow.
Right.
And then we'll be good to go. Other than showcasing your splendid Cheeseburger shirt, what else are we covering today?
Oh, that wasn't it?
Well, today is going to be a potent episode. We're going to cover one, group of topic or cluster of topics, all kind of result into the same thing. And then we've got a couple Q&A, and then we're going to leave you guys, like I said, with a nice, short, potent little episode today.
All right, so first thing we want to address is obviously we have not yet moved into the new studio.
Yes, that was actually supposed to be done. It was supposed to be completed by this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We knew it was going to be kind of up in the air because it was supposed to be done by Wednesday morning, which today we're recording today on Wednesday. Even if it was done this morning, we still have setup and stuff and testing and sound. So by next episode number 17 should be showcasing in our new studio, which should be fun.
Plus, we wanted people to focus on what was important in this episode, which
is
obviously the sweatshirt.
There's no way we would have debuted the new studio and distracted away from the Cheeseburger shirt.
Right.
But, with everything in mind, the new studio is more visually appealing, I think.
Right.
It's, right now, we ran into this just kind of not knowing exactly how well it was going to take off or if it was something we wanted to continue to do. And on both fronts, we have a ton of fun doing it. We get to talk to people in the dipping industry. We get to give them a showcase and get some limelight and communicate with everybody else. And on the other side, we've got people asking for this DipCast every single day. What are you guys going to talk about? So it's something we've committed to. So we want to make sure we can take that experience to the next level and continue to elevate it. So it'll give a more visually inspiring experience instead of the dungeon-esque type vibe that we have going now.
Right, because today you're just arms. You are just arms.
Like
half a neck,
and
then like eyeballs.
Yeah, to blend in with the surroundings like you did last week. Other than that, are we covering anything else?
Yeah, we're two really good topics so far. Next topic we're going to talk about is actually you made a pretty big post on Instagram and Facebook earlier today.
Yeah. That's going to be the meat and potatoes of this episode because it deserves to be. This is one of those moments right now where we launched the DYC Dip Pro High Gloss Top Coat in Quarts about an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those moments where my cell phone was at 67% battery an hour ago, and now it's at 4 because Facebook is just imploding on itself. So here's what's going on. From a basic outlook, you don't always need a gallon, okay? The DYC Dip Pro Top Coat works really good as a high gloss top coat. It suspends pearls and flakes very well, and that translates into working really well on smaller projects, not just whole cars. So it works great for wheels and emblems, small projects, and of course, speed shapes. It's testing. So the obvious is, let's call it the problem, is that you don't always need a gallon. And maybe it doesn't make sense for every single customer, every time they want to put their hands on this coating, to have to buy an $80+ gallon. The solution, the immediate solution, was we're going to obviously put this stuff in aerosol cans. We've been working on this for weeks now. And there was a point where, yes, we definitely anticipated getting this product into an aerosol can. And we're announcing as of now that we were not able. No one was able. Plasti Dip International specifically is not able to take this formula and bring it to aerosol cans. There's something called mirror values, MIR, mirror values, and it comes into the VOCs and the calculations. And the formula that we use for the DYC Dip Pro Top Coat that we've worked on for over a year and that we've essentially almost perfected it's not compliant to put in aerosol. No matter how much tweaking and everything that we've looked into, Plasti Dip does an outstanding job trying to make stuff like this happen. And we work hand in hand, obviously, on projects like this. And it came to the point where there's just no way to do it. Mm-hmm. So the solution for the problem I mentioned a moment ago is now not going to be aerosol cans. So plan A is out the window. Now, we had the opportunity, and it was even suggested to us to just say, well, aerosol cans are out the window, so when somebody wants to use this product, let them buy a gallon. Right. It'll be better for you guys anyway. They'll buy more product, you'll sell more gallons, it'll be more revenue. That's just not the way that we've ever done stuff.
Right.
I could understand the logic behind that from a business point of view, but we've gotten so far not thinking like that. I want to continue not thinking like that. So, my thought pattern was that's not how we're going to do it. We've got to give them a better solution. So plan B is let's go and just get a smaller container of this stuff so they can buy less volume of it. And maybe they don't need a whole gallon. So now you can buy a quart. Mm-hmm. So as of right now, and I'm not going to give you a whole sales pitch on it, you'll see plenty of that. But on DipYourCar.com, you can buy DYC Dip Pro Quarts. Now, they're not only in quarts alone. You can buy them in multiple different fashions. So you can buy a DYC Dip Pro Quart of clear gloss, exactly the way you would expect to. And then the problem comes in. How much pearl do you need for a quart? Well, if you do the calculations, it's somewhere between 12 and 13 grams for a solid pearl at a 50 gram per gallon ratio, and more for color shift pearls if you want to be a 75 gram per gallon ratio and microflakes and everything. So now the question comes up, all right, well, let's kick these quarts out. But if somebody wants to do their wheels in, pure gold alloy, what do they have to buy? Well, now they have to buy 3 5-gram sample bags and then weigh out, dump the first 2 bags in and weigh out a little bit because you don't want 15 grams. You want to stay at that. Not that 15 would have made that big of a difference.
Right.
But, 3 5-gram sample bags, which now you're getting pretty pricey. You dump them into a quart. Or you're weighing it out, or whatever it happens to be. And that, to me, was a little bit of a spider web. I don't like muddy water. I like a clear path from a business point of view, a clear path to a purchase. And from a personal point of view, I don't want to confuse people, and I don't want to make it difficult for people. So we took that extra step. And the DYC Dip Pro Top Coat Quarts, you can get in clear, or you can have them preloaded with the perfect amount of whatever DYC Dip Pearl or microflake that you want. And that includes all of them. Alien pearls, microflakes, color shifts, whatever it is. Our pearl team is going to take your quart and they're going to weigh out the exact amount of whatever you want for that quart, throw it in there, preload it, premix it, bottle it up, seal it, and it's on its way to you. All you have to do is pop it open, throw it into whatever your spraying device is, and you're good to go. 1 quart is definitely enough for a standard size, standard set of wheels. You got wheels up to 22 inches outside of anything that has one of those huge deep lips or dishes on it. And all you're going to need is 1 quart. So again, if you want to do pure gold alloy on your wheels, buy a matte black wheel kit, get your black base coats down, and then you're going to need 2 or 3 coats of the pure gold alloy, which is just 1 preloaded quart.
That's awesome.
And we got a video going out live tonight, I think. It's 7:00 Eastern now. The video should be out by the end of the night tonight. And that'll walk you through how to spray it, what you can spray it through. Pre-vol sprayers are going to be the go-to for it. And you can actually bundle your Dip Pro Quarts on DipYourCar with pre-vol sprayers. That's going to be your go-to. But honestly, dude, if you have a dip sprayer system already, which a lot of the people have, you're good to go.
Right.
You just load it up in your dip sprayer system, you dial it down to a 2-inch vertical fan, and you can blast out wheels all day. And again, I do that on the video.
Right.
Moving to the final, topic on this. When we put out a teaser, I put out a teaser of it sometime today, and 1 out of every 6 comments had the word California.
Right. obviously.
People started freaking out. They thought, oh my God, it's less than a gallon. It's going to Cali.
Mm-hmm.
It's not.
Dramatic pause right there.
It's not. And that's not because we didn't try hard enough
Right.
or because we didn't want it to or because we don't care about people in California. We absolutely care about people in California. And again, let's talk professionally and personally. Professionally, why would I ever leave out a market the size of California
Right.
if I had any option not to? I wouldn't. I want to sell product in California. Personally, I don't want to leave people out. I don't want people complaining. I wouldn't want to be the guy in California or the girl
Right.
who wants to see what or wants to use what they see on our videos and can't get their hands on it. It drives me crazy. But even though it's smaller than a gallon, the VOC laws and the regulations will not allow it to go into California. It's not going to work.
So is that kind of, well, you had mentioned a little bit about if you were spraying the pearls and you had the DYC spray system.
Mm-hmm.
There's also an option on there to add another kind of a unit to spray the product as well. If you don't have the DYC spray system and you want to spray, let's say, a small scale project.
Mm-hmm. That's the pre-vol sprayer. So yeah, we talked about that. That's basically, it's a pre-charged. A lot of our fans have already seen it. It's a pre-charged aerosol, and it's got a glass jar underneath it, and you pour the stuff in, and you spray it. And on the video, you'll see me walk you through the do's and don'ts of how to spray with a pre-vol because it's got a small little spray pattern, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to use. But once you learn how to use it and get control of it, it's very easy.
Right.
You just got to figure it out. You can't just go in there and start blasting it away. You got to just use some technique to it. If you got the finesse and you got the technique down, you could bang out pre-vol wheels all day long. So with that said, those quarts are live. It's something that we worked on extremely quickly, and it's something I definitely wanted to get out to everybody because I think it's got a huge place in the market. And I apologize about the California thing to everybody again. This was just not the solution.
Right.
But I mean, I can't say too much, but if you think that we're not working on a low VOC gallon for California, you're probably not correct. There's going to be something that we bring to you guys that meets the regulations so you guys can dip your cars. It's absolutely, and it has been on the very top of my priority list for a very long time.
Right.
But it takes time.
Right.
To get it done right. And remember, we're not the manufacturer of this stuff. PlastiDip is the one who's really has the final key on that. And they take compliance beyond seriously. Seriously isn't even the word. They make sure every I is dotted, T is crossed, and for every good reason. They don't want anything coming back to them. So, and I like that. The consistency is there. Sometimes you don't see this consistency with manufacturers sometimes, and the consistency is there with PlastiDip. So I hope that kind of clears everything up. There will not be DYC Dip Pearl PlastiDip high gloss aerosols at any point, at least not with this formula. The quarts are not going to Cali, and it's something that I think a lot of people outside of California, thankfully, are going to be able to have a really good time with and kick some butt with. So we're very pumped about that for sure.
All right, so let's move on to, I think we're just going to move on right to the Q&A.
Yep.
I think that was a big splash, so we want to keep this episode short. Leanne wanted to know, do you still do spot shots on things like door frames or panel linings? It wasn't mentioned in the most recent video, the complete tutorial of how to spray an entire vehicle. Or is that something that you don't really find necessary anymore?
You know what? We do spot shots whenever we use a color that is a color base coat, or, color of PDS, for example, that contrasts with the color of the car. So if I'm spraying yellow PDS over a black car, there's a lot of contrast there. You're going to be kind of working your butt off to get full coverage. I would do a spot shot, probably in between the second and third coat, and again between the fourth and fifth coat if I needed to. It just helps because when you're spraying over panels, the inside linings of those panels, the edges, are the spots that are probably not getting direct contact.
Right.
And if there is any contrast, those are the spots that you're going to see. So it doesn't hurt to go in and do a quick spot shot, because you could do spot shot while your previous coat is still wet. You just finish that coat, get in there, dial the gun back to a nice little dial or to a nice little circle, and go in there and get your spot shots done. So we still do them, but only when we need to, when the base coat isn't covering super quick.
All right. Trey actually wanted to know where we get our music from. And this has been asked a couple times
Mm-hmm.
where, when we post the YouTube videos, that intro, that outro music, where do we get it from?
A couple different places, but what we have to do is we can't just hear a cool song on the radio or on Sirius or anywhere and just stick it in a video. We
Right.
have to buy licenses to songs because our um, our Dip Your Car channel is a partner with YouTube, and we get revenue off of our YouTube videos, and that helps fund the company and help pay for expenses and stuff like that. And you can't use copyrighted materials um, on partnered or monetized videos. So what we have to do is go in, we have to find songs that we like through file sharing databases and stuff, and we have to purchase an online license for each one of those songs. Some of them are not very expensive at all. Some of them, if you want that song, it does get a little bit pricey. But we buy that license, and then we have the right to use that song for any of our online materials.
So that's why no Craig Mack, right?
No, we're not going to borrow your Craig Mack CD and throw it out there.
All right, and I think the last question.
Didn't she have a follow-up question, or he have a follow-up question?
Oh yeah, actually he did. His follow-up was going to be, would he be able to submit some of his own music? He thought it would be perfect for the outros that spin around and that the drive-by.
We are certainly open to hearing it. Yeah, I mean, if they want to send in an MP3 file or something, I mean, I'd say send it to our sound engineer. I mean, send it to Dan at DipYourCar.com, and he'll get it to me in the right format, and we'll take a look at it or listen to it, and if it fits, sure, we'll make it fit, and we'll give proper credit where it's due.
Cool. All right, and then last question I think is going to be from TJ. He's trying to tape off areas similar to stripes with the new Dip Pearl top coat. And, we have done that video where we laid down the blue painter's tape and you made it clear that you have to wait. It can't be, my last coat's dry, throw down that blue painter's tape. He was wondering how long should he wait to put down tape lines on the Dip Pearl top coat. And then he had a follow-up question as well.
What do you mean put down tape lines?
So if he's going to do a stripe or something like that.
Oh. Well, I mean, you got to wait until it's at least wait until it's dry to the touch, and then give it about another 10 minutes, because the flash time on the top coat is longer than PDS. And usually you've got product under the top coat, and then if the surface dries too quicker than everything else, you could have something that's dry to the touch, but something that you can kind of smush with your finger almost. And you want to just wait. It really depends on humidity and temperature, but if you're going to throw tape down on the car, 25 to 30 minutes is okay. DYC Dip Pearl Top Coat actually manages the adhesive of a tape, especially a low tack tape, a lot sooner than PDS will. But I mean, anytime you use low tack tape and to specify low tack painter's tape, the blue painter's tape that we sell on DipYourCar.com is specifically low tack tape, meaning it doesn't have a very strong adhesive, so that you can use it for projects like this and it won't rip the product up from underneath it. I mean, I can't give you a magical time because every situation is different, but 20 to 30 minutes is the minimum of what you should give your project. And then on the flip side of that, if you're going to be doing like your peel when wet areas, or if say like you're going to tape off a stripe of a hood, you're going to dip all around it, and then you're going to peel off that stripe in the middle, and you're going to see the OEM paint in the middle. Normally with PDS, it dries so fast, you have to peel it immediately when it's wet. The top coat dries a little slower, so you have a little bit more of a margin of error or window before you have to peel that off and get that clean line. So it's all about testing, and because your climate is going to be different than everybody else's, and you have to make sure that you're doing what's best for your project.
Okay. Yeah, and actually that you kind of covered his follow-up question right there. That was his follow-up. Just the different taping aspects of it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more user-friendly, the top coat, for sure. So I think that's pretty much the entire episode. I mean, we've been very busy. Dip Your Car is always pretty busy. I mean, everybody's busy, but for what's happening right now is we've got that kind of perfect storm happening where we're still in the launch phase of the DYC TopCoat gallons. The season is changing,
Yeah.
so it's thawing out, and we always go like this after the winter, and now that people can go outside and start dipping their car again. So that's like rocket booster number 2, and then now with the TopCoat Quarts, it's one of those things where, you know, if you send in an email or if you call and leave a voicemail, especially for product text right now, just give us an extra breath. Just give us just a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, because, you know, we may have to further extend our customer service team again. But right now, it's just one of those things where we're trying to manage everything we can. We still have standards, we still have expectations, and we stick to them. But instead of getting something back almost instantaneously, it may be just a little bit of time. So,
and you know what? That is actually something that is good that you touched on, is because I like that people are saying like, oh, you know, usually I hear back from you. Well, yeah, we're trying to get back as soon as possible, and you know, each customer is definitely a priority of ours. So,
but luckily, we're not in a situation where we have, like back in the beginning when we first started, where we had limited resources. Where hey, this is how many people we got, guys, and there's nothing else we can do. Thankfully, we're in a position now where if it warrants another customer service person, we will hire another customer service person. We will continue to scale as it's needed. So just give us a little bit of time. We really want to make sure we treat everybody as personally and professionally as we can.
And I think we've set the standards so high, and people don't feel like it's not even back to like a normal company. It's still you know, head and shoulders. I think we get back to people, you know.
Well, we take that very seriously. That's what we grew the entire business on. So other than that, you know, if anyone has any questions about these quarts or anything, you know how to get in touch with Adam. Adam at DipYourCar.com, or call in for customer service. But we've got even more stuff coming, so just kind of saddle up and ride it out with us. So, Dan, you got anything to add?
I'm good, man.
Yeah,
I'm very excited about the quarts.
Dan actually composed one of the songs, or maybe 2 of the songs, that we actually have on some of our DYC videos.
I didn't know that.
He was, or what is that, a DJ? Were you DJing that, or how do you describe that?
I mean,
composed it?
I just made the track.
He made the tracks, dude. He made a couple of those tracks. So we'll make sure we give as much credit as possible. But it's probably that ship has probably sailed by now.
I personally thought when we were talking about the soundtracks, and I had mentioned Craig Mack, he was going to jump in with Drake. So
yeah, Dan is the biggest Drake fan on the planet. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next episode.